Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Muntz, and I'm presenting some information on functionalism. This comes from Chapter 11, History of Psychology, and Week 9 lecture. And the psychology developed in 4 stages in the United States. And the first was moral and mental philosophy. Second was intellectual philosophy. Third was the U.S. Renaissance, and fourth was the U.S. functionalism. Functionalist psychology is defined as a school of thought that stresses the role of consciousness and behavior in adapting to the environment. And this was strongly influenced by Charles Darwin and William James. William James was the first to teach psychology in the United States. He wrote the Principles of Psychology, which he was not impressed with, and made psychology more popular and accessible. He suggested the idea of pragmatism and believed in radical empiricism. I found on the harvard.edu site that he also wrote a book called The Varieties of Religious Experiences. This was published in 1902, and he focused on identifying people's perceptions or interpretations of their religious experiences. And James did not agree with Wundt's definition of psychology. James also had other theories, such as his habit theory, where he believed behavior is governed by instinct, and his ideomotor theory of the self, also the James Lange theory of emotion. Hugo Munsterberg trained with Wundt and also helped popularize psychology. He brought about voluntary psychology and believed that ideas come from behavior. He also wrote some stuff on stereotypes between German and U.S., and on the harvard.edu site, I also found a book called On the Witness Stand that he had published in 1908. And this is where he said he could improve legal proceedings by offering insight into perception, memory, and decision-making. Munsterberg also brought about applied psychology, promoted the development of clinical, forensic, industrial, organizational psychology. He served the mentally ill free of charge, and believed psychosis was caused by deterioration of the nervous system and incurable. Mary Whitten Calkins learned from James and Munsterberg. She was not issued a PhD due to her gender being a woman. She studied memory and later was offered a PhD from another school but refused it because she didn't attend there. George Stanley Hall was the first psychologist to receive a PhD in the U.S., and he had the first psychology research lab. He founded the APA in 1892 and graduated the first Black PhD student, known as Francis Sumner. Hall also initiated child development psychology. John Dewey was the founder of functionalism. He wrote the reflex arc concept in 1896. He suggested the idea of stream behavior and is also known for his influence on education. James Roland Engel was a developer of functionalism. He helped us distinguish between structural and functional psychology and how the mind and body work together for a greater purpose. Harvey Carr focused on learning as a mental activity. This included the adaptive act of motive, situation, and response. And he looked at functionalism in 3 phases: initiation by Dewey, development by Engel, and preservation by Carr. Edward Thorndike worked with James and Cattell. He did his first dissertation, including the use of non-human animal subjects. He transitioned between functionalism and behaviorism, and also conducted the puzzle box experiments. Thorndike also had laws that he focused on, which was the law of exercise, law of use and disuse, and the law of effect. He abandoned the law of exercise and modified the law of effect to only include reward, and looked at identical elements theory of transfer. And that is all I have for this presentation. Thank you.